Now, talking about end-to-end automation, today we have with us two individuals who have really been there, done that. We are going behind the scenes for our first fireside chat of the day with IONOS. And IONOS is a major web hosting and cloud computing service provider that serves millions of customers on a daily basis. We have with us Michael Greenup, Senior Project Manager at IONOS, and Claudiu-Mihai, who's a software developer in the IONOS business unit, network business unit. So Michael and Claudiu, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having us. It's a pleasure to be here.
You already had a blast on your first day.
Oh yeah, it was amazing.
Fantastic. So, Michael, you've been with Checkmk for almost 7 years now. You've been a Checkmk user for 7 years now. And this is actually your first Checkmk conference. So how you feel about that?
It's been exciting. It's amazing what I've learned here already and the conversations I've already had with people. And to be perfectly honest, I would recommend a round of applause for the Checkmk staff for having put this thing on. So let them know that you love what's going on here.
Thank you. So, Michael, IONOS is, of course, a large global player, and we mostly know it as a digital service provider. But could you share with us a bit about the network side of the business?
So yeah, for people who don't know IONOS, we are a cloud hosting provider. We provide dedicated servers, virtual environments, that sort of thing. We are having about 6 to 7 million customers, 22 million domains are under our management. We have 40 facilities around the world with 4,300 employees representing 70 countries. We have a network division of approximately 100 members. And everything that we deliver is a global backbone all the way down to the top of rack switch connected to the servers. For a sense of scale in the Checkmk terminology, we run 2 central sites and 15 remote sites monitoring almost 13,000 hosts and 800,000 services.
That is massive scale.
You want to talk scale?
Claudiu and you work together, and you're coordinating monitoring across all of this. So could you perhaps tell us a bit about your team's mission and specifically how you both work together?
So I have a title of project manager, but as many IT people know, we wear multiple hats. So by day, I am a project manager, and by day, I'm also a virtual team lead of this team, which we call the Global Network Monitoring Solution, which has Checkmk at its core. So what we have is that I am responsible for the planning and the run of the system that we're using. And then on my team is Claudiu here, who is an absolute hero that has developed the solution for us. I am so thankful that he is so knowledgeable and is able to do wondrous things that we couldn't live without him.
Well, thanks, Claudiu. So thanks for sharing that, Michael. So what I know is that you have this very big distributed setup with Checkmk. And you mentioned that at a certain point, things got very complex, and you realized that you needed a completely different level of automation. So could you share with us what happened exactly?
So we originally had a very naive system for putting in hosts and services. Checkmk has a folder structure, and we had everything in folders. And originally what we thought is, okay, we'll put a remote site in a data center location somewhere, wherever we have our compute factories there. And it would allow us to monitor our things. The problem was, some sites are really bigger than others. Right? So what we wound up having to do was try and maybe spin up another remote server and for a remote site and try and put things onto that. And with 12,000 devices, you just can't do this manually. There's just no way. So what we would wind up having is our remote site, because of the load that it was under trying to monitor the large number of hosts and services, we'd run into things like SNMP timeouts. OMD would overload. Apache would randomly crash and the UI would be gone. all sorts of unpredictable failures. You'd try to approve a change, and it would just give you a big, nasty red box saying, try again, right? So clearly, this is also bad for business, right? If I can't trust the system that we're using to be there to monitor for us, then what am I even doing, right? So it's difficult to add new data centers at the moment. So if I have another location somewhere, we got to sit there and start doing stuff. And like I said, 12,000 devices, you just can't do that manually. As we say in America, ain't nobody got time for that.
Indeed. So actually, that sounds quite painful to me. So when you stepped back, Michael, and you looked at the problem from a distance, what requirements did you really have for a proper fix?
So obviously, it needed to be simple, right? It needed to be performant and performant at scale. It needed to have automation, which would ensure the continuity in our monitoring data. It needed to be deterministic, so devices that were already on a remote site would stay on a remote site unless there was a darn good reason to move them, and then we could specifically control that moving. So, like I said, when you're talking about 12,000 devices, there's no way you're doing this automatically, or no way you're doing it manually. I apologize. You can do it automatically, as we'll find out. But we also have the geographic monitoring in there. So if I have a location in the US and I have a remote site in the US, things in the US will report to the remote site in the US and not to the remote site in Spain or Germany or the UK, which is also very important for latency and for knowing what's really going on in your network.
Indeed. Now, looking at Claudio, that seems like a very serious but a sound wish list from Michael. So I also want to get your perspective as to why you thought the old solution could not scale as well.
So as Michael said, the old solution was too naive and was not made to scale. We had one regex for one remote site, and when that site was getting crowded, we had to go more specific, splitting the devices between types like switches and routers, and ending up with a file too long and hard to read. Ultimately, it was too simple for our need.
Right. So Claudio, you built this very smart automated solution using REST API that addressed all the wishlist items that Michael has. So could you share with us how that solution works?
So our solution is called Checkmk, so short for Checkmk Importer. It reads the device configuration from our central database and synchronizes it with Checkmk, creates the host, creates the folder, and also compares the desired and actual state of the devices, and only does the differences between them.
Fantastic. It's very smart, I have to say. And how did you really solve the load balancing problem that Michael mentioned as well?
So we created a deterministic hash-based solution. Now, instead of one regex to one site, we have a group of sites for one regex. And when we want to scale, we just spawn one more site, add it to the group, and only 1 out of n devices will be moved, where n is the size of the new group.
Fantastic. Now, Michael, you're the person who has to live with this solution every day. So from your perspective, what has Checkmk really changed for you?
Well, as I mentioned, it's simple, right? I can put in a pool of remote sites that I want particular regexes for host names and for devices to actually go to, and then it just automatically puts it onto different servers for different remote sites so that we can monitor things. It's very performant, it's quick. It has the file size that we had for all these regexes has shrunk considerably, which makes it easier for us to maintain. It still has the geographic matching, so I can absolutely have a site in the US and my stuff will stay in the US instead of going to Germany or whatever. And to be fair, the impact has been both immediate and amazing. The fact that load balancing happens automatically means we don't have to have an engineer or 3 go through manually fixing things on a regular, constant basis. The automation does it for us. So thank you.
Amazing. So to make it very concrete, yeah, so I also understand exactly how that happened. So when IONOS now brings a brand new data center alive today, how quickly can you get monitoring up and running?
So with a new location, depending on its size, we'd obviously do a remote site or a relay, but just say with a remote site, we would have it up in about 30 minutes. Basically, we add the new location to our central database. Chimp runs, magic happens, and before we're even productive there, before we even have networking devices installed, we're already able to monitor it.
Fantastic. Sounds like a dream come true to me. So we are coming up on time. I think we have a few minutes left. I want to end with one question for each of you. So Michael, of course, it's your first time at the conference. What are you hoping to take back from these 2 days?
So yesterday was just amazing. I'm absolutely excited to see what 2.5 brings. I'm also very excited to see what the roadmap for 3.0 will be. So I think there's some interesting ideas for us to explore for our use case within IONOS. Also, I'm looking forward to some of the future sessions like reimagined dashboards and the business intelligence made easy sessions later today. I think those are going to be amazing and fun to watch.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward as well myself. So Claudio, for you, for the developers in the room today who are also thinking about automating their own monitoring, do you have any advice?
So the code was not the hard part. The hard part was understanding the system and how the Checkmk API works. Once you have that figured out, the code will write by itself.
Love that. Thank you so much.
This said by a developer who works every day, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. All right, so we have 2 minutes left, so let's see if we have any questions for you.
Okay.
And I would need the password from Jonas for this. Thank you.
And a wild Jonas appears.
Jonas to the rescue. All right.
Oh.
So, I hope this is a question for you. Are you using parent-child links in Checkmk? If so, how did you solve the requirement that childs have to be on the same site as their parent?
So, in terms of Checkmk, we are not using the parent-child relationships. It's something that we want to implement, but we're looking for an automated process to be able to do that. Because again, 12,000 devices ain't nobody got time for that, right? So how we set it up, though, is we have the folder structure for the location and for our teams. Each team has their own folder, and then under that folder for the team is folders for the location. And then the regex we have is based typically on host name. So that host name, we know that this host name will always be in this location. So it's really easy for us to put it into that location's folder. Our database knows which team it belongs to, so we can throw it up under the team as well. Do you have anything you want to add to that?
No.
No? Oh, okay.
Fantastic. So the second one that has gotten a lot of upvotes is which version of Checkmk are you using?
So right now, we are running 2.3. We are in the process of upgrading to 2.4. I don't see us being on 2.5 until next year. I mean, it just takes a lot of time when you're talking that many devices, that many things you're monitoring. We have to be very careful how we do things, because the last thing I want is to have an incident or an issue where I have customer impact. I want my customers to feel like they have a product that works for them, and I want to ensure that we are providing the best value for them. And if their sites are down, there's no value there.
But we'll get you there.
We'll get you there.
Very shortly. So the last question for us, is Chimp open source?
Unfortunately not.
No. We would like to open source some things. Unfortunately, this solution is very bespoke to what we have. We aren't using what one would consider a common database, right? We have our own bespoke, homegrown database, which won't apply to you guys. We are in the process of migrating to NetBox. Once we migrate to NetBox, it's possible we might be able to open source this and provide at least that integration. If you're using a different source of truth, maybe we can make some things work there, but unfortunately right now, just not possible.
Thank you for that answer. So a big round of applause for Michael and Claudio. Thank you so much for joining us.